You know what I've noticed? Young people don't lose sleep over the future. It is the older ones who can't stop worrying. And honestly, good. Let them worry. Here is what I want you to understand. When you are terrified of what is coming, that fear has a name. It is called a lack of confidence. It is called a lack of imagination. I don't have all the answers for what tomorrow looks like. Nobody does. But I'll tell you who does. The young people sitting in this room right now, they carry the solutions. The older generation just doesn't know it yet. 20 years ago, I had nothing. No money, no technology, no connections, no safety net. And I thought, this is actually perfect. I have nothing to lose. So when everyone around me, the successful ones, the established ones, the ones with the fancy offices and the fat bank accounts, when they looked at the internet and said, I don't trust this thing, I leaned in. I said, in 10, 20 years, this becomes everything. And when that day comes, I'll be the expert. They'll be playing catch up. That was preparation wearing the costume of stubbornness. So stop worrying about the future. Prepare for it. Build it yourself. Cloud computing. Big data. Artificial intelligence. You know what? All of these have in common. They're brand new to everyone. Doesn't matter if you are a billionaire or a broke student. Nobody has a 20-year head start on this. The field is level. So what exactly are you afraid of? And here is the second thing. Stop worrying about what presidents and prime ministers worry about. That is not your job. Putin has enough on his plate. So does every other world leader. Your job right now is simpler and more personal. How do I feed myself after graduation? How do I build something that actually matters? How do I find work that is fun, useful, and different from what everyone else is doing? That is the worry that is worth your energy. Now let me address something directly, because I keep hearing this panic in the streets. IA is going to steal our jobs. Listen, when the steam engine arrived, people said civilization was ending. 50 years later, the steam engine had created more jobs than anyone imagined. When electricity came, same hysteria, same result. Technology doesn't kill work. It kills stupid work. The boring, repetitive, soul-crushing tasks that nobody wanted to do anyway will be no different. 20, 30 years of disruption. Some jobs disappear. But that is a chapter, not the whole story. And here is the deeper question. Nobody's asking, why will humans still win? Machines are faster, they're stronger. They can store more information before breakfast than you'll learn in a lifetime. But they cannot be wise. Wisdom requires something machines will never have. Belief. It cannot love your child. It cannot forgive someone who wronged it. It cannot decide to do the right thing, when the right thing is also the hard thing. That gap is where human beings live. Protect that gap. So if you want to be ready, stop memorizing. A computer beats you at memorization every single time. Stop trying to calculate faster. Your calculator beats you at that in 3rd grade. Instead, obsess over the things a machine cannot replicate. Be creative. Be constructive. Be genuinely uncomfortably innovative. Every class you take, every book you read, every skill you practice, ask yourself, does this make me more human or more like a machine? If it makes you more human, run toward it. And while everyone else is panicking, here is your advantage. Opportunity hides inside other people's panic. When the crowd is frozen with fear, the door is wide open. Nobody can stop this technological revolution. You worry, it comes anyway. You don't worry, it comes anyway. The outcome is the same. The only variable is whether you showed up prepared or showed up shaking. Someone once asked me, Jack, have you ever cried in 18 years of building this business? I said, no, not because it wasn't hard. It was brutal. But crying doesn't move the needle. It doesn't close deals. It doesn't build anything. If tears could fix problems, I'd cry every morning as a warm-up. Well, that's it kind. So I decided a long time ago, let the competitors cry. That is their job. Stay positive, stay ready, and understand this. Young people aren't just the future, they are the solution. Spend 5 minutes with people in their 20s who are hungry and passionate, and you feel it. That energy is real, it is contagious, it works. But here is my honest advice to young people, and it is the same thing I tell myself every morning. Nothing is easy. Easy just means you haven't found the hard version yet. Alibaba took 18 years to become what it is. Were we lucky? Sure. But we also outworked almost everybody. I spent 67 hours on planes last year, working. My team works like a startup that doesn't know it is already won. 18 years of that every day. You want results that look effortless. The work behind them never was. And think differently. Genuinely differently. Not as a slogan, but as a survival strategy. Early in my company, when an idea came to my desk and everyone in the room was nodding and smiling and saying, this is brilliant. Jack, I threw it in the trash. Immediately, if everyone already sees it, everyone is already building it. But when people came in nervous, saying, this is probably crazy. But that is when I leaned forward. That is the interesting room. The uncomfortable idea. The one that makes people squint. That is where the space is. Be that person, last thing. And I mean this. So write it down somewhere. Today is hard. Tomorrow's harder. The day after tomorrow is extraordinary. Most people quit on the second day. That is not a metaphor. Every difficult situation, every embarrassing failure, every moment where you want to walk out, that is not punishment. That is training. That is the universe building your capacity for what comes next. When you walk across that stage and pick up your diploma, understand what you are actually holding. It is a receipt, proof that your parents paid tuition and that you showed up to enough classes. The real education. It starts the second you leave campus. The real exams don't come with a study guide. The real grades are invisible until years later. That is life, and it is absolutely worth it.